Len Lewis, he is Stanley's Green Lantern, who you guys apparently really want to know about. Prior to my previous poll on the poll that Wonder Woman won, Green Lantern wasn't even an option because YouTube won't let me have more than 5 options. But even then, people in the comments were asking for Len. After my Wonder Woman video, I made a new poll this time with Green Lantern, and he won by 50% of the votes. With the other 4 being Superman, the Sandman, Catwoman, and the Flash. So you guys apparently really want to know about Len. So if you missed my other videos on Wonder Woman and Batman, who Stanley reimagined, in the year 2001, DC and Stanley teamed up for a handful of one-shots called Just Imagine. An entire universe just about Stanley recreating DC characters, which would later be rebranded as Earth 6. They'd also be later collected into 3 issues in 2003 rather than the multiple issues they once were in 2001. Len Lewis is an archaeologist who strongly believes in the mythical tree of life, which many think is just a Norse myth. However, Len actually manages to track down the tree along with one of his students, that of which is named Cathy. And they finally track it down to a tree that is in the middle of a swamp in Africa, with Len having the plan to take down the tree, cut off the branches, and sell it to the highest bidder for a lot of money. While Cathy actually was sent by a group called the Reverend Darrk, which actually, I think, just want the tree for whatever reasons. It doesn't really explain why, I suppose just for power. However, when they show up to where the tree is in the swamp, they come up to a man named Cragg, who had failed to collect the tree and was actually sent by the Reverend Darrk too. However, Cragg doesn't know that Cathy is too, so he actually attacks them, and he captures Cathy while Len is actually shot, and ends up confused while in pain. That is until the Tree of Life chooses him as a champion, the Green Lantern. This Green Lantern design seems very much inspired by Dr. Manhattan from the Watchmen, with it being a bald, bright-colored body who is godly powered yet doesn't wear pants. All the key stops after Cathy reveals to Cragg they actually work for the same person, so Cathy and Len return to LA only for Len to decide to travel to the desert wanting to discover his powers. And finds out he's not actually like a Green Lantern from the main DC universe, but instead has like plant control abilities, similar to that Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing. Meanwhile, Cragg wants revenge, so he sends a giant robotic dinosaur into the city, which I'm pretty sure is a reference to the Silver Age of comics because almost every Green Lantern issue had him fighting some sort of robot. Now, this robot will somehow weaken Len. Len tries to fight back, but the robot ends up actually going for Cathy, and despite his best efforts, Cathy is actually crushed by the robot. Afterwards, Len gets revenge on Cragg by showing up at his home and the two fight, while Dark watches from the shadows, and Len accidentally uses powers to convert Craig's body into an old man, with him dying in Len's arms. Len isn't exactly able to process any of this because it's a lot. All the people practically died in this issue except for him. So instead of staying on Earth, he decides to leave into space, where he can just be just there. He doesn't have to think much, he doesn't have to do his job, he can just be alone and just try to process everything that has happened. Also, this also kind of reminds me of the whole Dr. Manhattan going to Mars. I mean, it's the same company, so it's not like they're copying, but it does feel a little jarring that it does kind of come across very Dr. Manhattan-y. Len will return to the JLA with one shot, which will have its own video, along with returning in Convergence, where he, along with all of Earth 6, would die. He'd, however, return in Rebirth in Green Lantern, where he was a part of the Green Lanterns of the multiverse. And he would return in the Tales from Earth 6 one-shot from 2023. Len, in my opinion, is a pretty okay character. He's not a bad character. However, I will admit, over all the 3 characters that we've already gone over so far, that being Wayne, Maria, and Len, I think Len's story is definitely the weakest. With how the story itself is a little generic, but it was still a good story regardless. And his design is, in my opinion, great, even if he does look like a green Dr. Manhattan. And that's it. Like always, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.